Hi, I'm Madeleine Eno, and I am here today with Barbara Gilman.
Hi.
And one of my favorite things, my work is helping clients write books, write talks, write their websites. And one of the ways we do that is through wonderful interviews and conversations. And Barbara and I have had the good fortune to have a lot of conversations and talked about experimenting with taking some of them live to drop a little bit deeper into the material she teaches. So today is number 2 in our experiment. So hi, Barbara.
Hi.
Hey. Barbara is a teacher of access consciousness who lives near Portland, and she's a very wise, funny, connected, intuitive, Jewish mother, comedian, and spiritual teacher for me and for many in the Portland area. And one of the things we've chatted about a lot is this notion of resistance and how it really doesn't get us anywhere as much as we think it might in some of our attempts lately. And where I'm thinking about it is in our world today, where a lot of people have quickly ramped up to bring about change, to inspire change. And a lot of that is through resistance and protest. And Barbara, I know we've chatted about it a bit, but could you talk a little bit about how Access would speak to that?
Yes, sure. Well, the bottom line is, unfortunately, we have two things going on the planet. The most wonderful thing is that we have chaos energy. Now, as soon as I say the word, people are probably like, chaos energy, because we've been trained to believe that chaos energy is like something that you want to run away from, when in actuality, chaos energy is the amazing energy of creation. The energy, the formless energy that actually was before the Big Bang, probably created the universe.
Yeah.
And so it's a gift. However, most people through, well, as I call the lie, we just believe it's the opposite of what it appears to be. But right now on the planet, the energy for change is amazing. And most people want change, but they're looking at, as we always do, as we've been trained to do, looking at what's wrong.
Right.
And so many people are looking at a specific person and, and saying this is what's wrong. And when you are in resistance to anything in your life, then you're literally closing the possibility of everything that you think that you want to actually come in, because you cannot receive anything that's greater than the resistance that you're being, because it's energy.
Yeah.
So whatever energy that we are is what we create. It's so simple. And I know a lot of the people out there have worked with law of attraction and The Secret, and that's true. That was like the first step years ago that gave people a whole new way of looking at what our world is. Access consciousness is the next level of that. So it brings in to the pot the language of consciousness, which you cannot find anywhere else other than access consciousness. Yeah. And it brings in these amazing energy tools and they're play tools. And as you know, they're as simple as, 5-year-old children do them. When you put the two things together, not only do you have a possibility for change, you have great change with ease and with fun. So right now, as everyone is just being in this tense, resistant energy, I would say, everywhere you're misidentifying and misapplying that as something wrong, rather than looking at what is the gift of this.
Yeah.
And a question to ask might be, what am I not acknowledging here that could be the gift to change everything? So and how do you feel about when we talk about the chaos and the change, because you've been through it?
Yeah. No, I thought it was I think it's a beautiful thing to look at chaos, because I think what we tend to do in our world is do everything to avoid chaos. And it's kind of like, I think of those stores like Storables, and like more order, or like every magazine has how to put order on the walls and put order in your
the structure they're looking for.
Structure. And we look for, in business, we talk a lot about how this applies to our own businesses. And there's so many blueprints and 7-step systems, and it's kind of the same thing imposed on our business. Yet what would it look like can you talk a little bit about, because I've gotten a little more loving toward the idea of chaos, but what it might look like to welcome the chaos energy.
Well, you just brought it up, whether you know it or not. Yes, so business is still in the old model.
Yeah.
And everyone who is facilitating business is in the old model, which is structure.
Right.
And the nature of structure is that structure doesn't change.
Yeah.
And that's why everything is so stuck.
Yeah.
The idea of chaos and consciousness, which, by the way, consciousness is simply living in total allowance with no point of view. Now, no point of view is not like you have no point of view ever, but it's only in the nanosecond that something is actually occurring.
Right.
Okay, so that means that you're totally open to anything. You could pick, yes here, and then the next moment go into no. You could pick long hair today and short hair tomorrow. I mean, everything is continually changing. And when you can be that space, your world has a whole different possibility. So for instance, in the business world, when I work with people in the business world, one of the first things that I have them start doing is realizing that everything in the universe is molecules of consciousness. So you actually can communicate with the business,
yes,
or with your money, or with your body, asking questions of the molecules. Now that might sound totally bizarre for a lot of people, but if you look at quantum physics and you look at what's really real on the planet now, don't go backwards, don't go into your past, but what is available now? And what I find is so many people feel safe in holding on to what they have.
right.
So if you're a coach and you're doing law of attraction, that's wonderful. Keep doing it. It's great. People need to hear about it. But if you've been doing it for a while and you just feel, as I say, if you have something in your life that's uncomfortable, you're moving too slow. So what would be a little uncomfortable? So when you see me coming or you hear me and it feels uncomfortable, run to me.
Yeah.
Because the bottom line is, what is the next possibility for you and your business?
Yes.
When you bring it into, let's embrace change.
Yeah.
What can we be and do to create something new here, something different that would change everything? And this is the place of magic we all could be living in now. And if we would get out of the resistance and be in allowance and just look at everything that's going on now and say, okay, it might not look like it's working, but what if this is the energy that is here as the gift and contribution to change everything if we embrace it? If you're resisting it, it's like someone giving you a gift of $1 million and you saying, oh, no, I don't want it. I'm not worthy. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So we really want to look at, where are we holding on to the past? Where are we holding on to everything that we know and it is comfortable, but what could change? What possibility do you have that you haven't acknowledged, that if you would go for it, your whole world would open up? And then when we put all these people together, we have a whole new planet, and especially a country that doesn't have to be in the war that it's in, just because is going on.
Yeah, I love that. I love that possibility. Yeah, for instance, this feels not chaotic, but certainly not super comfortable for me, this thing here. But I love it, but I'm liking it. And and I feel like it's stepping into that. When you mentioned it, I was like, it felt light, even though it felt uncomfortable.
Exactly.
Light and uncomfortable.
But that's how it is, because the uncomfortable is you opening the door to something new, greater, more of you stepping into the power and potency that we all could be, but we've been pushing away.
Right.
Because no one ever told us, okay? Even though the people who are out there as the coaches and the whatever writing books, okay, there's a level of that power and potency that people still don't know about, because it's never been talked about.
Yeah.
Consciousness has never been talked about.
Yeah.
Okay, working with magical energy tools has never really been talked about. People know about Reiki and a few other things, but not how do I use it in my daily life to change any limitation that comes up in the moment, so that moment doesn't stop you. And actually, one of the things I know we wanted to speak about were the bars.
Yes. Yeah. So the bars is how a lot of people kind of enter the door of access, for sure. It seems like chapter 1 for many people.
Yes.
And can you just talk a little bit, just describe what it is and maybe a little bit about how it works?
Yes. I have a tiny cold, so excuse me for 1 second. There we go. I mean, I don't want to be on camera with my nose running. Okay, that would be inconceivable, I guess. So yes, the bars is the first, as you said, doorway into access consciousness. And it's an energy modality. We work 32 points on the head. So basically you're lying or sitting fully dressed, and someone, maybe you, I don't mean you, I mean whoever is watching, learns how to do this process. And we have children doing it. It's very simple. And yet it's absolutely life-changing. Dr. Jeffrey Fannin, and if anyone went to my website, they would see the video, or even just Google him, is one of the top neuroscientists in the world who has been doing the research on the bars for the last year. And basically, in a nutshell, he has said, and he did the research on heart math and the Yogi Institute and many different modalities. He has never seen anything that will change brain function, which is changing body and lives, as having your bars run.
Yeah.
Actually, he said with a smile on his face that he demanded his family all take the training and do it every week. And so you don't get better than that. It's quite an amazing process. It's very simple. And what it is simply like going to the default settings. So if you're your computer, you have your default settings where all your limitations are stored. And you don't even know what they are, and you don't know how they're limiting you. But they are.
Yeah.
And when you have this process done, which is very simple and fun, anything is possible, because you're letting go of the energy, or you could say the point of view or the belief that has been holding you stuck, whether it's, I'm not good enough, I'm too fat, I'm too skinny, I don't have any money, I don't know how to change. I mean, it could be anything. And little by little, each time you have your bars run, some more of the energy leaves. It's like having a garbage can, and you have all this stinky energy, okay? And all of a sudden, you take a scoop and you scoop a bunch out. And every time you go in, maybe it's 2 ounces, or maybe it's 3 gallons. Or for some people, they can have a bar session and literally it can change their whole entire life in 1 session. Now, I'm not saying that's the norm, but it absolutely does happen.
And when people are doing it, they don't need to be consciously aware of, I'm trying to change my limitation around how I eat or how I work. They don't
absolutely. You could
the belief.
Yes, right? No, it doesn't work that way. You can't. Believe me, if you could, well,
it's not.
Yes. You just lie down and whatever occurs, occurs. But there's no way you could have this done without something happening in you, changing in your life.
Yeah.
Now, there are some people, based on how much structure they have in their body, some people will absolutely feel it. They will even, sometimes when I do an expo and they only have like 20 minutes,
Right.
people will get off the table and absolutely say, oh my God, what just happened? I feel so different. I feel so happy. I was so sad. I mean, anything is possible, but there are people who can get up off the table. And if they have a lot of structure in the body, they don't feel it. The change has happened, but they don't feel it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a possibility, but there's no one who can have the process whose life will not start to change.
Cool. And when people, I know you've got a class coming up this weekend, do you encourage people to take the class if they've never received a bars session?
Absolutely. If they're willing to choose for them and say what else is possible, or I have so many little free intros that I'm doing around the area. I'm just starting to work at a couple of 2 acupuncture office and a chiropractor. So I'm sort of putting myself in different places, like 1 day a week around the area, just so people who don't have to hold on to the story of, oh, I can't go 10 miles away,
Right.
Okay, I mean, I just went to South Africa a couple of months ago. That's
you don't have that story. You don't have that 10-mile story.
Right. I'll go anywhere to create all of me. Okay, because
I love that.
What could be more amazing for someone to actually get to see who they really are when they're showing up with all of them?
Yeah.
Not the diluted, kind of less than, I'm not good enough kind of you.
Yeah.
Okay? But to start to see you showing up as the invitation for change on the planet. And you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
That's an energetic thing. There's an invitation, okay, about consciousness. And, well, I know you know.
I know, it's amazing. I highly, highly recommend starting with bars. It's a really, really beautiful, practical way to start, and you're sort of getting the whole language of it, but learning something very practical. And can you talk a little bit about your class on Saturday and what people leave the day knowing?
Well, it's an all-day class. They come at 10 and leave around 6. And they literally just learn how to do this process. So, I mean, someone can come to me and I'll do it for them. And that's fine. Some people will start out that way, but we really recommend that you have it done every week, every 2 weeks. This is something that is going to be added to your life, hopefully forever. It's just, it's like, does your garbage can get full or do you only take it out once in your whole life? I mean, so the idea is you come to the class and you learn how to do this. And as I said, children learn. So it's simple, and yet fun. And then you can meet people in the class and work with them. You can bring someone, drag your sister, wife, brother, child, and they come. Or I have people come back, every week or every other week, and we call it a bars exchange. So they just come and we exchange on each other. And I like to know that my people know where they are putting their hands, because I'm a Jewish mother, and then it's like life just changes.
Yeah.
For children, grades go up, resistance goes down, joy, sleeping gets better for people, relationship. I mean, it changes everything. Money issues, just joy issues, being willing to be different, okay, which might sound scary in the beginning. All of a sudden, it's something that you're willing to change.
Yeah.
It's magic. It really is.
It is magic. And I just want to add that at the bars class, you receive as well. So you're not just, you do have a whole session.
Yes, absolutely.
You get that. You learn how to do it, and you also learn how it feels.
Yes.
Yeah. And the class is on your website, barbragilman.com?
It's not on the website, but it's all over Facebook. And someone can go to my website, of course, which is barbragilman.com, spelled like Barbra Streisand, although, of course, I don't sing like her. And, just get back to me.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to add too that I've really appreciated these tools I'm kind of a tool hound of the energy world, and I have really appreciated how the access tools apply to anything you're already doing in business and life. It's a way of clearing the path for what you're already doing, and it's kind of seeing a whole new relationship for the things that are already going on. So I just wanted to say a word that it's not like a whole departure from where you're at. It's like this opening.
And I think what you're really saying is that language. And for me, you know, I was in the energy world literally all my life, and consciousness.
Yeah.
But finding access was the miracle of all miracles. I actually was looking for it since I was a child.
Yeah.
Access consciousness is the only thing out there that facilitates the language of consciousness.
Yeah.
So it's a totally different language than what we live with. And when you start to be that, okay, you be the space of that, you learn that language. Just make it simple. When you learn that language, all of a sudden you look at everything in your life, from family to relationship to money to sex to business, and everything now looks different. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes.
Yes.
I completely agree. Yeah. Yeah, and it's super fun. The tools are amazingly fun and very easy.
Yes. Yes. They're like 5-year-old children. You know, when you tell people some of the tools, they look at you like, oh, right, I'm going to say this sentence, and my life is going to change. They can't believe it.
Yeah.
But it's been in the morphic field for over almost 30 years. So it is literally like magic. And when you do say it, worlds change.
Yeah. Well, wonderful. Well, I know you've got an evening coming up this week, as well as a bars class on Saturday. So I just highly recommend that anybody watching this just give yourself a gift and experience this.
Yeah, and be willing to be a little uncomfortable, even though you have what you're doing. It's like, what if you had something that you could add on,
right?
You know, that would expand everything that you're doing.
Yes, I love it. Awesome. Well, we will be back again for the next installment in our experiment.
Yes.
It's great to chat with you, Barbara.
And wonderful to be with you, the wordsmith of all times.
Thank you. All right. Well, we'll see you again soon.
Yes. Bye, everyone.